Hi everyone, today I'm back with a really important topic. So let's say you just moved here to Belgium, a rich country, right? Let's say you moved here from, I don't know, Eastern Europe or another country that has a currency that has a lesser value than the euro. You look at the salaries here, everything seems super nice. The salaries are really good, especially compared to where you come from, right? So what you are thinking is, oh, people live such good lives here. They are pretty well off, right, in this rich country. So they will not have the need to screw me over for my money. They will not have the need to be dishonest with me. They will not have the need to take advantage of me as an immigrant who doesn't know the local customs, the local rules, the laws that much. Well, that's where you are wrong. And today I'm gonna share many ways that people in Belgium can unfortunately screw you over for your money. If you are new to this channel, hi, my name is Nora. I'm an immigrant from Hungary. I've been living in Belgium for 3 years now. First I lived in Brussels and now I live in Antwerp. So 3 years, that's a lot of time. There have been a lot of people who were trying to screw me over or did screw me over. So I'm going to share my own experience. And the reason I'm sharing this is that I think as immigrants, expats, we are really vulnerable here. We don't have a family, we don't have a support system. Our salaries, our savings from the country we come from, the currency can be maybe lesser. For example, for me, I worked all my life and I saved up a lot of money. Yet when I came here, I never ever earned as much as even the minimum wage in Belgium, even though in Hungary I was working as a manager. So it's just such a huge discrepancy between countries, between what you can earn in, for example, a country like Hungary, as opposed to what you can earn here in Belgium, that when you come here, it's just, everything is just so different. Everything is just so expensive, especially the housing. So I just feel like people here can really take advantage of that, and they will if you are not careful. So I'm sharing my own experience so that you can learn from my mistakes, my screw-ups, and you can avoid losing a lot of money this way if you pay attention. So first things first, we have to talk about scammers. So if you are trying to find yourself a place to stay, an apartment to rent, a house to rent on Facebook, you have to be really vigilant about the scammers. They are most likely to hunt for their victims on Facebook, but it can also happen on some real estate websites. So there are some real estate websites that only allow ads posted by the real estate agencies. These are, for example, Zillow, but there are some real estate websites that let private owners also post ads. These are, for example, ImmoWeb. So if a private owner posts an ad on there, it's most likely going to be legit, but still you have to be a bit careful. So if you are looking for a place to stay and you find an ad of a really nice flat, a really nice place to stay, right? But it seems too good to be true. So there are some things that you have to really watch out for. So first of all, the security deposit. So in Belgium, paying the security deposit for an apartment, the most common way and the safest way is to open a blocked account with a bank. This is an account that will be on your name, but it can be opened by the owner of the apartment. You have to pay the security deposit here, and then after you moved out, this security deposit will be released. This really is the safest way to do it. So if your landlord, landlady, landperson asks you to just transfer it over to their bank account, pay it in cash, whatever, no, don't do it. You have zero guarantee that they will actually pay it back to you. Another really common play that they try to do is that, hey, so I am actually working from abroad and I can't really go back to Belgium to meet you. So I will give the keys to this external company and you have to send the deposit and the first month rent to them. And after that, when you come to Belgium, they will give you the key. And you're like, but I haven't even seen the apartment yet. I haven't been there in person. No, this is just way too fishy, sketchy, whatever. So if they ask you to send any money without having been there in person, having met a real estate agent or having met the owner, just don't send them any money, okay? If they are working from abroad and renting out their flats, then you can bet that they have enough money to hire a real estate agent who will show you around in the flat and who will set up the contract and organize everything. So don't believe them if they are trying to sell you this BS story, please. Unfortunately, this is not the only way you can come across scammers on Facebook in Belgium. So for example, a story from my own experiences, right? So there was a time when I moved to Antwerp and I was really, really low on money and I was earning a really, really minimum wage kind of income. And I needed some more money, so I started selling some of my clothes online on Facebook, and there are these scammers all over the place. But it's even worse when you are trying to sell something like a washing machine or something that's a bit more valuable like that, right? So what they will do in this case, right? They will text you, they will ask if this product that you are selling is still available. They will be really, really, really persistent and they will be really rude as well. If you like don't reply in 5 minutes, they will be like, what? Like question mark, question mark, question mark. So, you know, it's already a bit suspicious. And then they will tell you that they have a health problem, so they cannot go there and pick up the product that you are trying to sell. But they will arrange a delivery, either via the Belgian post or with another delivery company. They will arrange the delivery. You don't have to pay for anything. They will come to your address and that's it. And you will be like, oh, that sounds perfect, right? I don't have to do anything. But what they will do next is they will send you over to a WhatsApp account and then they will start asking for your data, right? They will start asking for your bank card number. They will start asking for really fishy stuff. So this is how they try to trick you. The WhatsApp profile will have the same logos as the Belgian post. It will have the same, but it will still be super fishy because, for example, they also reply you on a Sunday, whereas we all know that you will not be able to do anything with the Belgian post on a Sunday, right? So yes, basically these are scammers all over Facebook. Facebook doesn't do anything. Maybe you will get like a little disclaimer like, oh no, we have a lot of scammers. Yeah, but they don't do anything. I didn't even see a way to report them, to be honest. So it's a bit... I am actually having an appointment with the police because I'm trying to report these things so that these people cannot screw over more innocent people, right? So that's it about scammers. I'm sure they have myriads of other ways of screwing people over. If you had a bad experience like this, please do share it in the comments below. It's really important that we share these experiences with each other so that people can't trick us or scam us and take advantage of our vulnerable situation as immigrants. So let's talk about another really big chunk of this topic of how people in Belgium can screw you over, right? Let's talk about housing, landlords, real estate agents, and so on. So in Belgium, the housing laws are really, really complicated. I would also say unnecessarily complicated. There is something that you have to know. The owners, landlords, landladies, landperson, who are renting out their property are in kind of a vulnerable position from the point of view that they do not have the right to evict the tenants. So let's say there is a tenant who doesn't pay rent at all. They don't have the right to evict them. And if I'm correct, I think they have to wait until like 3 months to even be able to talk to the court, to take the case to the court and actually get the rents that this tenant is not paying to them. So that sounds a bit unfair, and it's a pretty vulnerable position, as I said. However, instead of making up stricter laws that would force tenants to pay rent, the threat of eviction, so on and so on, instead of creating laws like this, what does Belgium do? They establish laws that would favor the landlord, landlady, landperson, right? So what kind of laws am I talking about? So let's say you are a tenant and you want to leave the apartment sooner than the end of your contract. You have to give 3 months notice. First of all, you can only move out of the apartment after 3 months, and then you also have to pay a penalty to the owner to compensate them for moving out and ending your contract earlier. But the people who live here in Antwerp or Brussels, we all know that it's absolutely impossible not to find another tenant in 3 months. For example, when I moved out of my latest apartment, I gave 3 months notice, but the owner and the real estate agent, they didn't even put up the ad until the very last month of my notice. So less than a month is more than enough to rent out the property again. There is absolutely no need for 3 months notice. There's so much competition. They can find someone to take over the flat basically anytime. So there is really absolutely no need for 3 months notice. There is really absolutely no need for a compensation, because the landlord, landlady, landperson is not losing any money. You move out, they will basically rent out the apartment in a week. So with this penalty thing, it's actually the landlord, landlady is just earning some extra money, while you might be moving out of the apartment because the neighbors were too loud, the apartment was a dump. Who knows, you might have had your reasons, but you lose an insane amount of money just because of ending that contract sooner, and the owner gets all that money even though they don't need it at all. So all in all, I just think it's a really, really unfair system, right? Because we cut some slack to the people, to the tenants who don't pay rent at all. They will not get evicted. The landlords don't have any way to make them pay the rent. But instead of establishing some stricter laws, we go over to the tenants who actually do pay rent, who are actually, decent people, who are not trying to screw over their landlords or landladies or land people. And we make them pay extra, and we screw them over. So yes, great, nicely done. And I'm not even talking about the screwing over part yet, right? So this is just doing everything according to the Belgian laws, right? This is not the screwing over part yet. Let's talk about how they can screw you over. So just to share my own experience, right? We found a really nice new place with a very, very nice landlord who told us that we could move sooner. Just to explain here, rental periods in Belgium start from the beginning of the month in most cases, right? Also, the notice periods will start from the beginning of the month. So what you can say is, I want to rent from the 1st of April, I want to rent from the 1st of May. They usually will not accept you in the middle of the month. Sometimes they do. However, if you do the notice periods, what you have to do is, if you want to leave the apartment in April, you already have to give notice in December. Why? Because the notice period will only start from January. So that's January, February, March, and then in April you can leave the apartment. As I said, in my experience, we were allowed to move to the new place a bit earlier than the beginning of the next month. I was stupid enough to share this information with the landlord at the previous place, who is definitely not a nice landlord. And so with the real estate agent, he set up an inventory meeting for 4 days after our moving date. So the inventory meeting is something they do in Belgium. They are legally required to do it at the beginning of your lease before you move into the apartment. They are not legally required to do it at the end of your lease. So what they will do is they will go to the apartment, take photos and document the state of everything, if there is a crack in the wall or something, so that you know that that was already there, and then you can prove it after you leave the property that it wasn't caused by you, so it will not get deducted from your deposit, right? So this landlord and the real estate agent set up this meeting to check the state of everything in the apartment on a date 4 days after our moving date. So you can imagine that, right? You move to an entirely new place, you carried boxes all day, you pack everything out, you have to clean the new place, it's an insane mess. And then the person just says that, okay, you have to clean and paint and do everything in the old apartment as well in just 4 days. So what kind of person does that seriously, right? It really smells fishy, right? Because 4 days is really not enough to clean an apartment properly, to check the state of everything, to repaint the walls. It was just so unfair, and he screwed us over in so many ways. But yes, this is what I can advise you. Just if you are moving out earlier than the end of your lease, just don't tell the landlord, because if they put you in a situation like this, you will not have time to clean everything, to fix if there is anything on the walls, and they will deduct that money from your deposit. Not to mention that you already have to give back the keys. So for us, that was 6 days before the end of our lease. So we paid 6 days extra for an apartment that we didn't even have access to anymore. Like, what in the world? So this is just one way that they can kind of manipulate you to try to screw you out of your deposit, right? And like a chunk of your rent as well, right? Because you are basically not living there anymore, and you are losing the rent that you paid for those extra days, right? But also there is another way that I find really unfair. So for example, when they do this inventory meeting, sometimes they do it with an external company, right? So that there is a third party, unbiased external company who will not decide on behalf of in favor of the landlord or landlady, land person. So this is what one of these documents looks like, right? So you can see that they document everything in pictures, and it's also always going to be in Dutch or French or German if it's the German speaking part of Belgium. But if you look here, this is a documentation of an apartment before the tenants moved in, right? And here you can see that they didn't check the cleanliness of the apartment. They didn't check if the windows were clean. They didn't check if the insides of of the kitchen cabinets were clean. They didn't check anything about cleanliness. And I remember also when I moved into my first apartment in Brussels, also when I moved to the apartment of this dishonest landlord in Antwerp, I had to clean the apartment for an entire week. It was so messy, it was so disgusting, it was just crazy. And also, of course, in Belgium, cleaning the windows, it's a bit of a, it's like the myth of Sisyphus, with, because it's raining all the time, right? So you clean the windows and the next day it just rains and your hard work is just gone out the window. So it's a bit hard to keep track with that. But yes, as you can see, they do not check the cleanliness. However, when you move out and they come to check again the state of the apartment, they will check the cleanliness. If you didn't clean the apartment, if you didn't clean the windows, they will deduct that from your deposit. But they don't do the same with the landlord. They don't force him to clean the apartment before you move in. So you see the trick here? So you move out, they deduct a huge amount of money for your deposit, from your deposit, for cleaning the windows, for cleaning the inside of the kitchen cabinet. But then they will do the inventory again with the new tenants and the landlord, and they will not check the cleanliness again. So where does that money go to, the one that they deducted from your deposit? That's what I'm wondering about. So if there are any Belgians here, please let me know.